Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Friday, the 1st of September 2023. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about, so let's get going. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.4% today to 7,278 points, but still ended up about 2.3% for the week. Almost all sectors fell over the day, except for energy, which was the best performing sector, followed by consumer discretionary. Energy was given a bit of a late boost in the day, supported by higher coal and oil prices, in part related to extra support being rolled out by Beijing to support the Chinese economy. Healthcare suffered the biggest falls, followed by utilities. In terms of companies, best today was Sayona Mining, up 4.6%. We've talked a lot about that one this week, followed by Whitehaven Coal, up 4%, and Magellan, up 3.6%. Chalice Mining continued to lead the falls, down 7.3%, followed by Polynovo, down 5.7%. Qantas. Now, Qantas has had, I guess you could call it a pretty troubled week, including a new case against it from the consumer watchdog over claims that it sold thousands of tickets for cancelled flights. We've talked about that a lot. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission Chair, Gina Cass-Gottlieb, wants Qantas to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in fines if their case succeeds. It has shed almost 7% off its share price over the past week. Not a good week for Qantas. Reporting season has now come to a close, and a CommSec analysis of dividends being paid out by the S&P ASX 200 shows the total is worth $34.5 billion to shareholders. Sounds good, but that's down about 18% year on year. On to story number 2, Fortescue has seen yet another senior departure this week. This time, it's none other than former RBA Deputy Governor Guy Debelle, who is leaving the board of Andrew Forrest's Fortescue Future Industries. It's the third major move in 1 week for the group and one of a string in recent months. Dr. Debelle is heading to an ASX-listed critical minerals company to take up a board seat. While his resignation has only just become publicly known, he apparently gave his notice several weeks ago before the latest period of turnover. He's been at Fortescue for 17 months, which is actually much longer than Fortescue CFO Christine Morris, who resigned yesterday after 2 months in the job, and Iron Ore Mining CEO Fiona Hick, who left last weekend after 6 months. Debelle resigned as CFO last November. He took a non-executive director role following a major bike accident. The latest move does make sense for him, as he's well known to have ambitions to help Australia's clean energy transition, but Fortescue Metals' share price fell 5.3% today, one of the worst performers on the ASX 200. Story number 3, interest rates may still go up. While many economists think this week's slowing inflation data indicates that the Reserve Bank's rate increase cycle might be over, seems not everyone's convinced. HSBC Chief Economist Paul Bloxham still expects another rate rise in the fourth quarter of this year. The RBA is set to meet for its September meeting on Tuesday, which will be Philip Lowe's last as governor before Michelle Bullock takes over. While Paul Bloxham does think there might still be another rate rise to come, he does think the cash rate will be kept on hold at this particular meeting at the current rate of 4.1%. Story number 4, embattled PwC Australia has reported flat profits but consolidated revenue up 12% to $3.2 billion, is giving partners a big pay cut. This is, of course, after a very, very tumultuous year, including a tax scandal that set off a series of investigations and resulted in the sale of its government consulting arm for $1. Just $1. Now, partners at the Big Four consulting firm are taking a 30% pay cut for 2023-24 on top of an average 12% decline in income over the last year. The remaining 10,000 staff are able to receive bonuses from a $47 million pool. The company said that ongoing reputation challenges would affect future revenue. Finally, story number 5, the federal government is rushing through changes to bankruptcy laws to double the debt threshold to trigger an order to $20,000. Now, the Attorney General's Department is also increasing the timeframes that debtors have to respond to bankruptcy notices up to 28 days from 21, so an extra week. The threshold was doubled to $10,000 in 2021. Mark Dreyfus held a roundtable recently with stakeholders and found personal situations were often tied up too much with business, and consumer advocates were concerned that the rules are unfair and the threshold's too low. Submissions are open for most of the month in a relatively short consultation period, indicating really that the government wants to act fast on this one. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 1st of September 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast, find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X and Facebook, and join us tomorrow morning for the weekend edition of the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.